And in this video we're going to talk about little, a little, few, and a few. So let's start by talking about a few. So let's look at the board. And a few means two or three, a couple basically. So let's look at these two example sentences. The first one says, I have met a few famous people. And here we have the word a few. So this means I have met maybe two or three famous people in my whole life. This uses a present perfect, so that means from the past to now. This one says I know, so this is present simple. I know a few people who speak Arabic. So I only know two or three people who speak Arabic. And here we have a few. Notice that a few goes before the noun. So famous people and a people. Both of these are plural nouns. So that's a few. Now let's consider few. Okay, so now let's look at few, and here is our board again. And you can see few. And basically few means not many. Pretty much zero. That's why I've written near zero, because it's pretty much zero, maybe one or two. Just to remember that you need to use this with countable nouns. So mistakes, one mistake, two mistakes, three mistakes, one friend, two friends, three friends. Just remember that. And again, few is in the same position as a few, because if we look here, we can see that few becomes before the noun in both of them. This one says he has made few mistakes. So this is talking about from the past to now because it's using present perfect. And so maybe this is to do with his job or to do with his life in general. The last one has. So this is just talking about now in general. She has few friends. So she doesn't have many friends. In this instance, few is the opposite of many. So this is what this means here. We could also say she doesn't have many friends. This has the same meaning. Okay, so that's a few and few. So let's talk about a little and little. Okay, so this is a little. Now you can see here I've tried to define it by showing you this graph. None is basically zero. And some means more than one or two, but we don't know how many. I've made a video before about some, but basically a little is like less than some, but more than none. So that's why I put it here. So just remember this is where it goes. We use a little with uncountable. This is one of the differences with a few, because a few is kind of like the same meaning, but we use a few with countable nouns, whereas a little is with uncountable nouns. Again, the position is the same because it goes before the noun. So we have, I put a little sugar in my coffee. I put a little sugar in my coffee. And then here, we've got there's only a little time before the class ends. So I put a little sugar, means not some sugar, but less than some. Maybe just half of a teaspoon. And then here we've got there's only a little time. So that means not a lot of time, not even some time, but very, very few, very, very little time before the class ends, maybe 5 minutes. Okay, so this is a little. Now let's look at the last word, which is little. And this is the last word, little. And little is the opposite of much, so not much. That's what I've put here, not much. And again, we use little with uncountables, so it is the opposite of few, because few we use with countables. So here, let's look at our example sentences. The first one says, he has little experience, so not a lot of experience. So we won't hire him. Hire means give him the job. He has little experience, so we won't hire him. And then the last one says, I know little about him. It's kind of a negative connotation, so it means that I don't know a lot about him at all. I don't know much about him. Maybe I just know his name and his age, but that's it. I know little about him. And maybe I know little about you, so if you are new to my channel, why don't you introduce yourself in the comments below? And if you have any questions as well about a few, a little, then also put them in the comments below too. Thank you so much for watching today's lesson. I hope you learned something new, and I hope you enjoyed how I used my new board. If you have any questions, then just leave them in the comments below. And if you enjoyed what you saw, please press the subscribe button. And if you did like the video, please like it and share it with your friends. You can also find me on Facebook and Instagram too. But until the next lesson, keep practicing.